If you had one shot, one opportunity, would you capture it? Just let it slip.
Do you ever wish life had an undo button? Walking the balance between business and the creative life can be hard. But Matt and Shelby are here to attempt to answer the tough questions, so you don't need an undo. Presented by Made by Things. This is the CMD-Z Show.
And we're back with the CMD-Z Show. Shelby, how have you been?
I have been great.
Wow. Wonderful. That's not what I was expecting.
Fantastic.
Pretty fantastic.
Pretty fantastic. Getting over allergies, but moving and grooving. How have you been, Matt?
Pretty good. I didn't do that on purpose, by the way. No, we kids had spring break last week, so took a week off as much as I could anyway from things. Played a lot of video games and saw a solar eclipse and saw family and tried my best to forget about work for 1 week. I did okay.
You did okay. I think by the end of the week you were able to relax a little more, so that's good.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, you get to Sunday and it's like, oh man, I didn't plan this whole thing out as well as I hoped to. And I could use another week, right?
Yep.
But here we are. I have missed working. I guess that's the thing, right? Is like I love working. I think especially just like kind of the kind of stuff that we do, it's very therapeutic. I feel like it anyway. So I don't know. So it's like it's good to take a break from it, but at the same time, when you take a break from it, you're missing something that kind of feels important to do, I guess, in a way.
I felt like that recently. I'm like, I could really use like 3 weeks of no creation just whatsoever, just consuming life, consuming movies, consuming books, like that's it. And then I think about that and it's like, I would actually lose my mind. I can't do that. I'd have to be creating something, making something, doing something, working on something, or otherwise I don't know what I'm doing.
Right. I have a larger vacation that I'm trying to plan coming up. Going to Europe for 3.5 weeks, something like that. And I'm mostly nervous about that thing right there, where it's like,
yeah, that's
a long time. Like, I've never taken a vacation that long by even a long shot, and I don't know. I think it'll be good for me. I need a long break, but at the same time, I know I'll miss it like right away. So,
well, just keep up with the journaling, keep up with the writing, and you'll have very different entries during that time. It'll be an interesting thing to look back on.
Probably. Yeah, I'm gonna come back with like a movie script and I'll be like, all right, everybody, stop what you're doing.
You're going to be like, have you ever seen the movie Under the Tuscan Sun?
No. I thought you were going to say Eat, Pray, Love for some reason.
No, Under the Tuscan Sun, based on an actual experience, based on a book, based on an actual experience about this woman who got a divorce and she just went over to Italy. She was a writer and she needed to escape. And she ended up buying a house in Italy on a whim and just completely restarting her life. And that's going to be Matt. He's just going to go over to Italy. He's going to restart his whole life with his family, and we're never going to see him again. We're getting down to the last episodes of the CMD-Z Show. Restarting everything.
Getting to the epic conclusion of the CMD-Z Show. That's what podcasts don't have enough of, is like grand finales of like, this is it.
Is it?
Doesn't build towards anything. Huh. Maybe one day.
Maybe. We'll start a storytelling.
Anyway, all that being said, go ahead.
Oh, nothing. Go ahead. Move forward.
All right. So let's get to our question. I have a feeling we have a couple more laughs ahead of us here for this question, but let's hear it.
Okay. Big question of the day is, if you had one shot, one opportunity, would you capture it or just let it slip? That's it.
Yes. Yep. So I guess let me start here by saying, like, I've always been a big Eminem fan. Lose Yourself has always been like kind of this song. I think a part of it is like, him being from like Detroit and me from Cleveland. Like, there's a lot of like similarities, as far as like the places where we're from, whatever. Like, no, I'm not a rapper or
Matt's
even
really
pretend to be
hardcore.
one. Yeah. But I guess in all seriousness, I've honestly just kind of obsessed over that one line in that song where it's like, I guess like I used to believe that that everybody gets this sort of chance in life to do what it is that they really want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time that opportunity just blows right past them and they are not able to, I don't know, kind of seize that moment, I guess.
Yeah.
So for me, like, I always thought like, oh no, like I don't want to like miss it. Like, because it only comes by once and then that's it.
Yep.
But I feel like I don't feel like it's true, right? I guess let me start there. Like, I don't think that the saying of like, yeah, you get one shot. Like, I don't think that people get just one shot. And I think people might get like one obvious shot, but I would say like there are so many little moments, little things that happen in life that it can be really hard to see that it is an opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
If you just sort of ignore it. So it's sort of like, yeah, I don't know. It's not just if you miss the one shot, then it's it. It's okay if you miss that one shot plus all these other little ones where you just kind of don't grab hold of this thing that you want to do or want to be. And I don't know. Maybe that's really weird in kind of these terms, but I guess I very much feel like for me, being in the art field, being in the creative field was literally a dream of mine since I was 12 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that it would always kind of like stay that way because I didn't know anybody that was ever in this field to begin with. Like, it always seemed like it was always supposed to be just a dream.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until I got a little bit older where I was like, oh, that's crazy thought. Like, what if I actually did do this thing, right? And you start to think about how you'd go about doing that thing, and I don't know. I guess I very much feel like at a certain point I was like, okay, well, I have to kind of create the opportunities if I'm going to actually take advantage of them. I can't just wait around. Like, if I was to just hang out in suburban Cleveland and just wait for something good to happen, it's just, that's whenever it just never shows up, right?
Yep.
And I don't know. I guess so. Like, again, it's cheesy, but like that song does actually mean something to me because it's like it meant, okay, be aggressive with the opportunities that may be there, may not be there, but either way, again, what are you going to do? Sit down and do nothing, or are you going to try to make something happen? We're getting into a conversation that is not very Command Z like, I can tell already.
It's a therapy. It's okay.
It is. How about you, Shelby? What are your thoughts when you hear that line?
That's a really interesting thing because when I first was like, I'm going to be a writer, this is what I'm going to do. I thought, okay, I have to really write like one brilliant thing and everyone will know it's brilliant and I'll have the world handed to me. It's like, oh, actually, that's not at all how it works. And I realized that a lot of it was creating opportunities for myself so that the one big shot would come eventually. And that's kind of what I've focused on for a long time. And it's allowed me to create my own big shots, because I've been able to put myself into a position where those things can kind of come up just from my own ingenuity, which I think is really interesting. And the idea of like, okay, one shot will be presented to you. I don't think that that exists for everyone. I think that we build those moments that allow those one shots to be presented. And I really love that idea, though, that we can kind of control that destiny a little bit by creating opportunities for ourselves, by just never giving up, by refusing to back down from those dreams and from those goals, and also being flexible enough to know when those dreams and those goals should change, based on where you're at, based on the opportunities you're creating, based on kind of what you're seeing around yourself and the things that you're building. I think noticing that and being flexible is also really important to be able to achieve kind of what you want. But also when those things pop up, don't be afraid to take them. And I think that's something that I see a lot with people is, especially young creatives, is there's a fear of, oh, I'm not good enough for this yet. I can't do this yet. This isn't the right thing. It's like, anything could be the right thing. You never know. I mean, I took so many opportunities where during the moment I said, this is not for me, but I'm going to do it anyway because I need to do something. And it allowed me to push forward and open completely different doors. I mean, I thought, I'm going to be a theorist, I'm going to be a writer, and that's going to be it. I'm never going to be, in the field creating things. And I just took one opportunity one day, and that led me down a completely different path that I love. And I never thought I would ever be doing. And I think that that's kind of the way that I look at things, is how do you create opportunities for yourself that will lead you down a completely different path, so that way those big shots do come up, so you're building them and remaining flexible within that space.
Right. I think that's really well said there. That is it, though. Like, all you can do is really just keep trying things. And I think the thing that I've noticed is, I guess, through this period of time where I very much like that, where I'm just like, all right, let's try something else now. Let's try something new. I don't necessarily try to be, it's not necessarily important for me to be right.
Yep.
In the thoughts or the ideas or the directions that I sort of go. Mm-hmm. What's more important is that I learn something as quickly as I can from it. And, after, I guess it's been about 15 years, 16 years, something like that, that I've been out of college. If I look back over that time and like how all of the things, the big opportunities that I got, like how did they come about? And I mean, you couldn't write this stuff up most of the time. It's just like this random, seemingly coincidence. It makes you feel like you're incredibly lucky. And I am. Like, I would never say that I'm not lucky, but at the same time, it is trying those things and seeing what the outcome is, and listening whenever someone calls. And, for instance, I guess if I go back, probably 2 years ago, there was one project that came to us, and I kept resisting this project because I was like, well, it's not exactly what we do. And I kept resisting, and I was like, no, like you got to find somebody else to do this, and maybe I can help you find somebody. And then it turned into, okay, you know what? Like, I can't help you with this, but I seem to have like a grasp on how you should do this. So let me consult for you a little bit. And then it turned into them saying like, yeah, we want you to do this. We want you and your team to take this project on. And I'm like, yeah, that's great. But like, again, that's not what we do. But then I started to, really consider why can't we do it? Like,